You will never believe what happened to me. So this guy came into my yard and he was like, hey, give me one of those kids and I'll give you a couple packages of paintbrushes. And I was like, no way. My kids are worth way more than paintbrushes. And he was like right over there. Like right over there. Right, you see where that bus is? He was like right there. I can't even believe he asked me for one of my kids.
Hey guys, welcome back to 10 Minute Tuesday. I'm Crys'Dawna and welcome to my YouTube channel. We do 10 Minute Tuesdays here where I answer your questions. Last week I was not on, things were crazy, it was crazy. Anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed that little skit. I did not give my kids away for paintbrushes. Although it doesn't seem like that bad of an idea, does it? Maybe a bottle of wine? I don't know. So anyways, this week what I wanted to address is a couple questions that I've gotten throughout the years. So normally each week what I do is I address your questions each week, but this one I kind of wanted to talk to you about how to move forward, how to find your style, all that stuff. And apologize for the sound in the background. We are an Air Force family and we live by an Air Force base. So if you hear jet noises, that is jet noises. So there is a question that I have gotten a lot, and it is, hey Crys'Dawna, everybody in my area, the only thing they ever want is neutral. The only thing they ever want is white. And I really want to branch out and I really want to do color and I really want to try something else, but I'm afraid that it's not going to sell. Okay. Or this other question, these kind of go hand in hand. Hey, how have you found custom work where you're able to do what you want to do? You can do color. How is that? How have you found that? How does that work for you? So what I did in the beginning of my business is, first of all, I had no idea. When I first started, there were not people out there like me giving you guys advice for free. You could pay to be in groups and things like that. But when you first start out in this business, you're not sure where it's going to go or how far it's going to go. And investing a lot of money in groups and things like that is kind of not something that everybody wants to do. Now, don't get me wrong. Eventually, you do have to put money into your business in order for it to grow, whether that be getting business licenses or paying for logos and all that stuff. But I understand that when you first start, that's a lot of faith to put in painting furniture as a business. Okay. And I see that question a lot where people are like, do you paint furniture as a business? Because I know when I first started, I was like, this is not a real thing. So first of all, when I first started, I didn't really know that this was a business. So I've always kind of done what I've wanted to do. I never really did furniture because it sold. Now, I didn't have to sell furniture to pay my bills and put food on the table. I was lucky enough that my husband was the one that his income helped support our family. So I understand that there are people who are like, I have to sell this. I have to make money. And so when you are forced or you have to do what your clientele wants, whether that be painting everything white, sometimes it gets monotonous. And sometimes you're like, I just want to paint a piece of furniture yellow. So my suggestion to you, long story short, I know that was a really long explanation, but long story short is for every, let's say 5 pieces that you put out, okay? For every 5 pieces that you put out, do your 6th piece something that you just let go and you're creative and you do color, and hey, it may sit for a little bit, but you may be surprised. People may be like, oh my gosh, that is so awesome. And they may scoop it up faster than your neutral pieces. And that puts me in the other question of custom work. So people don't know what they don't know. And what I mean by that is people don't know what you're capable of, and they don't know what your range is. They don't know that you can paint white furniture and that you can do a beautiful old world finish or you can do a really nice ombre finish. They don't know what you can do unless you physically show them what you can do. And so whether that be do what I said, you do 5 pieces that are safe, that are going to sell, and then do one where you just let go. Okay. And again, that will bring a different kind of clientele. And you might be surprised. For me, when I lived in Cheyenne, my wild pieces that I did were not always my fastest sellers, but all of my custom work everybody let me do whatever I wanted, and they always let me do color. I very rarely in my custom work did neutrals. And so that's where it paid off in the end. So even though maybe my pieces that I were doing to put in my booth were not selling as fast as maybe a neutral piece, all the custom work that came from what I was showing people what I could do, that is what made it worth it. So hopefully that makes sense. You know, if you're into doing neutrals and stuff like that, then do it. If that works for you, do it. But I know that there's a lot of people who really want to branch out. Also, you know, people say, well, how do I get better at something? How do I get better at blending? How do I get better at this? Okay, first of all, this is my disclaimer, okay? And everybody knows I'm a brand ambassador for Dixie Belle Paint Company, but I've used other paints, right? So let's say that you're watching my friend Brandy, right? Who does phenomenal blending. Brandy does phenomenal blending, but she uses Dixie Belle paint. If you're over here trying to use general finishes or fusion or something like that, and you're trying to do the same thing that Brandy's doing with Dixie Belle, it's not going to work, okay? So you have to understand that not every paint is the same, okay? There are paints that are specific to one color finishes, one coat finishes. They spray beautifully. They're like an enamel, but they don't distress well or they don't blend well. And then there's paints that they blend really beautiful. You can do a lot of artsy finishes on them, but maybe they're not the best sprayed finish or something like that. I mean, I'm just saying, I've used tons of different paints, so I know all these things, all these companies in my head, and I know all the different paints in my head, but you know, there's people that are like, well, how do you feel? Okay, I'll just throw it out there. 2 names, okay? DIY, which is a clay-based paint, or Dixie Belle, which is a chalk mineral paint. That's like comparing apples and oranges, guys. DIY will reactivate for months after you put it on your piece. It has to be sealed with something, okay? It blends really beautiful, but it's not really great for like a one color finish. It's really great for boho and layering and chippy and blending and all that stuff. But again, it requires a top coat. Now, you've got Dixie Belle, which is really good for layering and blending and all that stuff, but it doesn't require a top coat and it cures within 30 days. And so even if you don't put a top coat or you don't put wax on it, in 30 days, you're not going to go up to it and spray it with water and have it reactivate. Whereas DIY, it's going to keep on reactivating. So that's one thing that I want you guys to understand is if you get into this world, I really think if you can afford it or you can try different lines and get to know those different lines so you know what those different paints can do for you. Because there are paints, let's just say, like Wise Owl's 1 Hour Enamel. That's not a paint that you're going to want to brush on stuff. That is definitely a paint that, one, requires a primer, and it also it's better sprayed, okay? Or then you've got other paint lines, General Finishes. They have a milk paint line, right? Okay, so here's this. General Finishes has a milk paint line. Sweet Pickins and Old Fashioned and Miss Mustard Seeds, that's a milk paint line. But wait a minute, they're 2 completely different paints. Miss Mustard Seeds, Sweet Pickins, Old Fashioned milk paint, those are legitimate milk paints that come in a powder form that you mix with water. And once they dry, they start, most of the time, unless you put an extra bond in there, they will start chipping and flaking. And so when you distress them, that's how you get the chippy look. Now you've got General Finishes who has a milk paint. And I want to say Rust-Oleum may have just made a milk paint line. There's milk paint or whatever at Hobby Lobby and like Michael's. Those are totally different. That is not the same kind of milk paint. So that's one thing I want you to understand. When you are watching people and you're watching what they do, it's very important for you to know what kind of paint they're using. And I'm not saying that if you look at me and I do something with Dixie Belle, then you have to use Dixie Belle. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you need to find a paint that is similar or that will do similar stuff. Because if you are trying to use, again, like an enamel paint to do the blending that Brandy does or that I do, it's not going to work the same. So in this business, that's one thing I want you to think about is I want you to educate yourself on the different products because that will make your life a whole lot easier. And that will, if you're, that things may make sense. So even if you're watching me and you've been in this business for a while and you're going, wait a minute, okay, so I tried to blend this one kind of paint and it didn't blend, and I painted this one and that's why. So like I said, not every furniture paint is created equal. They're not. They all have different things that they do. And there are plenty of wonderful paint brands out there. But again, you have to know what's going to do what for you. Okay. So I know I didn't really answer a lot of questions, and you guys, like I said, I'm using my phone to record. Remember a couple, probably 10-minute Tuesdays ago, I showed you how to video record in 4K so that you have high quality. So I'm looking at my thing and it says 10 minutes on it right now. I hope that this gave you a little bit of information. Again, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments below. And I promise I will be back next week. Last week was just crazy. I actually was able to go out of the country to Luxembourg to go get some furniture. So you guys, please stay safe. And I love you. And again, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell so you get all the latest videos, because I also do furniture painting tutorial videos as well. And remember, everything I always ever use is in the description below. Come follow me all over. Got a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, a blog. I even have a Twitter. I don't even know how to use that. I don't know. But anyways, love you guys so much. I will see you next week, and thank you for watching.